Hi, everybody. Joe Cioffi here. Weather in 5 days and 5 minutes on this Wednesday, the 29th of May. And as we look at the watches and warnings across the United States this morning, there hardly are any. It's very quiet. It's the first morning in probably weeks that we haven't woken up at least to some severe weather someplace. It's up and down the eastern seaboard. It looks great. Up in the west coast, it's great. And while there is some shower and thunderstorm activity going on in parts of the middle, it's not enough to cause any severe weather problems. Now, as we check out the satellite loop this late for the late part of the overnight into early this morning, things are quiet in the northeast, but you'll notice that there are some clouds in the Great Lakes. That's the next upper trough and cold front swinging eastward, and this will probably bring some scattered showers and maybe a thunderstorm or two late this afternoon into the first part of tonight. Not everybody's going to see them, but the risk is going to be there. In the meantime, we start out with sunshine today and then give way to some arriving clouds later on. The southeast weather's been great and continues to be great. In fact, it's a bit on the cool side for this time of year, especially as you head up into the mountains of the Appalachians and into the lower part of the Ohio Valley. The plains are dry right now. The southwest is dry, and we've got some scattered showers and storms that are fading across East Texas, but they're going to fire up tonight in parts of northwest Texas, northward up into the western plains. And this is what the radar looks like as of 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Little arc of some showers and a couple of thunderstorms from eastern Ohio up into northwest Ohio and southeastern Michigan. That's that next upper trough. You can see some showers there along the Gulf Coast and in parts of northeast and north central Texas. We've got some rain and maybe eventually a thunderstorm or two that's going to come out of this in Montana, especially as this area moves to the east, and a little bit of rain in the Pacific Northwest. The Storm Prediction Center for today has a uh, slight risk in a narrow band from eastern Colorado up into the western Dakotas and easternmost Montana and Wyoming. That comes with a small area of tornado risk in southeast Colorado into northwest Texas. Marginal risk for isolated severe thunderstorms extends east across Texas into Louisiana and southern Arkansas. Meanwhile, you can see this area here in the northeast from southern and southeastern New England, west across Pennsylvania and Ohio, down into West Virginia and Virginia. That area, which of course includes New Jersey and Long Island, in an area of general thunderstorm risk, and that probably lags into the first part of Thursday, which is why you see it here indicated from southern and southeastern New England down into North Carolina. Thursday's risk shifts back down into Texas and also into what the western half of Oklahoma, southwestern Kansas, southeastern Colorado. And here we also have a 2% tornado risk that goes all the way up into southeastern South Dakota. Day three, which brings us to Friday into Saturday morning, we have risk developing in central and east Texas, eastward into Louisiana and parts of Mississippi, and there'll probably be some tornado risk as well. As far as rainfall is concerned, here in the Northeast, because we do have a weather front that is coming through today. We have uh, this is probably mostly front end loaded, although this goes to next Wednesday morning, so there might be some precipitation maybe getting in here on Tuesday. But there isn't going to be too much with these thunderstorms today. I think at most somebody winds up with maybe a quarter of an inch. Everybody else, I think it'll be far less. And you can see there are areas up and down the East Coast expecting no rain for the next 7 days, but the big rains centered in the southern plains and the lower Mississippi Valley, where we've got an area of 3 to 5 inches and even an area of 5 inches plus from north central and northeast Texas into southwestern Arkansas. And this area has just been getting utterly pounded by rain over the last number of weeks. And that's been the pattern here with the rain setting up in the middle of the country, the heavy rains going all the way up into Iowa and up into Minnesota, complete opposite of last year. Also, some heavy rains forecast in the Pacific Northwest. So it's a fairly easy outlook here. Once we get this cold front and upper trough through in the Northeast this evening and tonight with some scattered showers and storms, Thursday and Friday, I think, look pretty dry. And then as we head on into the weekend, And this will be interesting. You see that low that's out offshore, it's going to keep that high sort of pinned between that and the next low that is coming out of the southern plains and heading into the lower Ohio Valley. So I think for the first time in 17 weeks, we're going to have 2 weekend days where it doesn't rain. And as far as temperatures are concerned, a little bit on the cool side of normal for Thursday and Friday with highs in the low to mid 70s, and then we'll be back into the 80s for Saturday and for Sunday. Not all the way up into the 80s, but we should get at least into the 80s for both Saturday and Sunday. And then, as we said, maybe sometime uh, later Tuesday night or Wednesday, we might be able to start to see some showers come back into the picture. Although the models would suggest that it could possibly take longer than that. So perhaps we are lucky now that we're going to get into a dry stretch of weather. So enjoy the weather today, eastern PA to southern New England, while you have some sun before clouds and scattered storms pop up, with temperatures generally in the mid 70s to around 80. Tonight, the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast will be focusing on the severe weather potential in the western plains, flash flood potentials in Texas and Oklahoma, and of course, better weather that's coming for the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic states. And that's tonight on the Joe and Joe Weather Show podcast at 7:35 p.m. Eastern Time.